That's how I knew that I made it. I woke up looking as good. I'm in my
power. Okay, so the womb is not just a biological organ. It is a spiritual technology. Okay, and what I like to say is it holds infinite intelligence. Okay, a quantum gateway that connects the physical world to the spiritual realms. Every soul that incarnates passes through this cosmic chamber. In the ancient temples of Kemet, this was known. Okay, the womb was revered as a seat of magic, intuition, and creation. The divine feminine, when awakened, when she knows who she is and the power and the sacredness that she possesses, understands that fertility extends far beyond the physical. Fertility is the ability to give birth to timelines, ideas, healing, freedom, movements, and new consciousness. This is why the womb is targeted through trauma, okay? Because it holds the codes for liberation and divine memory. Now, I speak a lot about the family dynamic and how the family is a system programmed by the matrix to exploit the natural codes of liberation, to push the narratives of trauma, and to ultimately keep the sacred energy of the feminine in a toxic karmic loop, constantly producing karmic cycles. Okay, so Isis represents the mother, the magician, and a master of womb alchemy. Okay, I see we got a few people here. Okay, I see a few people in the chat. All right, I just want to make sure I ain't talk to myself. Even if I do got to talk to myself, it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, so Isis is not just a goddess, right? Which in ancient Kemet, Isis is actually Offset. It was the Greeks that changed the name to Isis, or Isis is what we pronounce that as. Okay, so Offset, the ancient Kemet goddess of motherhood, the magician, and the master of the womb alchemy. She is the template. This feminine energy of Isis is the template for the resurrected and sovereign woman. Okay. After her consort, Osiris was murdered and dismembered. Now, remember, this is symbolic. Okay. This is symbolic. So Isis searched for a sacred piece or sacred pieces of Osiris, resurrected him through ancient knowledge, and conceived Horus, the divine child. To me, Osiris represents the divine masculine energy that was destroyed or exploited or pretty much stolen and exploited to create the patriarchal system that we are now subject to today. Okay, like the distorted masculine energy. Okay, so the myths, this myth hold esoteric truths. Okay, so the feminine can resurrect what the world has tried to destroy. It is the feminine, it is the mothers who will bring balance back to planet Earth. Okay, the womb holds life force even in the face of death. Isis teaches us that motherhood is a spiritual act of war and protection, birthing children who carry divine codes and shielding them from the matrix systems. Isis is a blueprint of spiritual sovereignty, reminding us that no external system has dominion over the woman who knows who she is. So the key word is the woman who knows who she is. This will be the reason for us also talking about this and bringing this to the awareness of those who may not know, because it's so important for women to know the power that she possesses. Only it's strictly from the fact that we have a womb. Okay, strictly from the fact that you are carrying a portal around. Okay, I need y'all to understand that. That's godly in itself, right? You hold the blueprint of spiritual sovereignty, reminding us that no external system has dominion over the woman who knows who she is. Now, the fight comes when there are beings who want to humble the sovereign woman who knows who she is. That's where the power struggle come in at. It's very unnecessary in my opinion, but people will try to humble the woman who knows who she is and does not sway, in her solidness within her mind. Once a woman knows who she is, she can't unknow who she is. There's nothing that a person will be able to do to humble you. Why? Because now you have already done the work and you're continuing to do the spiritual work. You're doing the healing. You're actively healing from trauma. You are actively reclaiming your womb power, your sacred womb power. You are actively activating spiritually to the God that you are. So it's nothing that a person could do or say to make you to humble you into thinking any less than what you know you are. So this is how we are able to show up and be exactly who we are, unapologetically, right? Authentically, and not be affected by any outside forces that seeks to humble the divine feminine, the God of this planet, the God of this realm, the creator, the portal. Okay. Sovereignty and mental liberation of the divine feminine. Okay. So some may wonder, well, what exactly is sovereignty? Okay, let's get a few definitions of sovereignty. A few other words, rather. Y'all keeping up? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down, child? As you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, so as what I like to call myself is a abolitionist, right? Against all forms of slavery. That's mental slavery, that's physical slavery, that's psychological slavery, spiritual slavery, all forms of slavery, all forms of oppression. Okay, I am against it all. I am here to help you reclaim your sovereignty, reclaim the dominion over your being and over your 7 spiritual bodies, over your aura, your Taurus field, over all of who you are as a multi-dimensional being. Okay, because we are more than what we see. We are a whole lot more than what we physically see. And I think that's what a lot of people get fucked up when they think that, oh, you see a person and you judge a person based off how they appear to look, whether you perceive them as soft-spoken, weak, or, not knowing who they are, seeking outside validation, whatever type of things that people, hey, KB, whatever type of things that people come up with when they look at a person and then totally judge them and get shit all misconstrued. Okay, because it's spiritually that actually matters the most. Everything happens spiritually first before it manifests physically, right? So I think that's where a lot of people might get a lot of things misconstrued when they go sending magic and curses and word spells and doing all these dark magic and exploitations and, you know, trying to impede on somebody's energy and change the way other people perceive people. All of that is still, to me, an attack on a divine feminine or the divine feminine energy altogether, and they are indeed working with our opposition. So we definitely need to know how to recognize these tactics in real time. Okay, so I feel like some of y'all might have to even listen to this message more than once. We got 13 people in the chat. That's a divine feminine number. Okay, we got 13 moon cycles. We got 13 minstrels. You know, that is a divine feminine number. So I shade to the gods and goddesses and the Great Mother. So there is going to be a lot of things that I touch on in this message. So you may have to listen to it more than once, okay? Because I'm spiritually led, or I'm guided by spirit to speak about certain things. And sometimes to me, it may feel like I'm all over the place, you know, but long as y'all getting what I'm saying, that's all that matters. So I think that when you truly are a sovereign being and you've reclaimed um your spiritual sovereignty and you're no longer bound by the power and the hierarchy powers at play in the matrix, you automatically become a target, okay, to this hive mind system that seeks to oppress and then reinforce that oppression of the people, specifically the divine feminines. The divine feminines is the ones that's under attack. Okay, we got it coming from every which way, as a divine feminine with a portal. Okay, so other words for sovereignty is control, it's authority, it's rule. Okay, it's jurisdiction. So reclaiming your sovereignty supersedes the jurisdictions in the 3D realm. Okay, the law, okay, it supersedes all of that. You are now outside of this physical and you are outside of time and space, if that makes sense. You have entered into a whole nother dominion when you reclaim your mental and spiritual psychological sovereignty. Okay, it's your superpower. It's a supreme power to own and operate from your sovereignty, your individual sovereignty. Okay, so sovereignty begins in the mind. This is why the war is on the mind. This is why the government exists. Government literally, the etymology of government literally breaks down to mind control. This is why the government exists, to control the mind. Before a womb is free, a woman's mind must be liberated. It goes together. The mind and the womb goes together. Mental slavery is the first chain placed on the divine feminine. Through religious distortions, media sexualizations, generational shame, guilt, and fear, and the silences of the intuitive voice within. Okay, so it is supposed to be the family's responsibility to instill a sovereign mentality in the child, a sovereign environment around the child, safe spaces for the child to thrive in its sovereignty. The matrix is in total opposition of that because this is a system of distorted hierarchy. So it is a part of the programming to traumatize the child in childhood. Okay. So the matrix strips the child from its sovereignty and then programs the child to give up its power of sovereignty, the power of our intuition, the power to think for ourselves, right? And be totally dependent on the toxic dynamics in which we were born into. Say, right, Kuana? Right? So an enslaved womb belongs to systems, not spirit. Okay? Not spirit. As long as we have mental chains on our minds, okay, because slavery still does exist. We may not be chained up or bound to a plantation. Slavery did not go anywhere. It simply evolved to mental and psychological and spiritual. Okay, so an enslaved womb belongs to the systems of the matrix, not to spirit. To reclaim sovereignty, the divine feminine must reprogram her subconscious mind. I teach you how to do this in my ebook. Okay. I have an ebook. The link should be in the bio. And I basically teach I teach people, okay, how to awaken the divine feminine within, because even as male and female, we both have masculine and feminine energies. I think I'm more leaning towards actual women though, because it is the women that needs to wake up and realize who they are and reclaim their throne, reclaim their power, and reclaim their sovereignty, their birthright, okay, to be free and free to express yourself and be creative and be chaotic as you are naturally supposed to be. We are not meant to be controlled, dominated by anyone or anything, or to be submissive to no man. Okay, that is not our nature. That is not our divine nature. Now, when we talk about respect, that's different from being submissive. Okay, to be submissive, according to the dictionary, is to be under the control of someone else. We're breaking free from that control. We want to be sovereign and we want to be respected and have a high regard everywhere that we go. That's what we are seeking to do. Yes, thank you, Kuwana. She put the ebook link there. If you want to get the ebook, you can. Also, if we meet our live goal, I have a physical copy of a book, the ebook that I wrote. I gotta find where I put it. I put it up somewhere, but I'll do a giveaway for that ebook. Okay. But the divine feminine must reprogram your subconscious mind. There is no God coming to save you. You are the God that you are searching for outside of yourself. There's no way to put this. I'm not here to coddle anybody's feelings, okay? I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you either, okay? Because what I'm telling you is going to free your mind. It's either going to free your mind or it's going to trigger you to go look for this information to free your mind. Either way it go is fine with me, okay?